the Big 12 is got to be the most competitive conference. It's up in the air, guys. We don't know who's winning the Big 12 this year. Okay, my gut feeling is Utah, but obviously Kansas State is right there. You've got Utah at a plus 340. You've got Kansas State at plus 360. Kansas at plus 650. Arizona plus 750. Texas Tech plus 850. And then UCF at plus 1100. And as you can see right there, from the very best odds to win the championship to the sixth best odds there's only one game differential in the win-loss column as far as the Vegas projections go. So this thing's wide open, okay? I like Utah because of the fact they bring back Cam Rising. And we saw last year just how much Cam Rising affects this team in a positive way. And we saw that by him not being out on the field. Obviously, he had that knee injury. We kept thinking he was coming back. And about halfway through the season, I think everybody finally just gave up on the thought that he'd be coming back. And he sat out, took his red shirt. He's back. So I expect Kyle Whittingham to do more of the same. What he did in the Pac-12, I expect him to continue in the Big 12. I think that they're poised for a really, really good season. Look, Utah's really good on the lines of scrimmage, and I think they have a clear advantage over most of the teams in the Big 12 as far as on that line of scrimmage goes. So that makes a huge difference, no doubt about it. If you can control the line, you can control the football game. Kansas State, they lost Will Howard, but it was because of the fact they were bringing in a guy named Avery Johnson, who played some last year. This guy's a freak athlete, and I cannot wait to watch Avery Johnson. I am super excited to see this guy. High expectations. The fact that Will Howard left to clear the way for this guy kind of tells you everything you need to know about the talent level that he possesses and the thought process that goes on around him playing quarterback at Kansas State. Obviously was the quarterback of the future, and the future is now. We're about to figure out what he's made of. Leipold is super excited about the Kansas Jayhawks this year. You're going to get to see the quarterback, Daniels. You're going to get to see him whenever you really didn't get to see him a whole lot last year. He suffered the back injury. He has gone on multiple podcasts and radio shows, local stuff there in Kansas, and has talked about his health and how great he feels, and that he's ready to, play a full season this year for Kansas, and really excited to do so. If that is the case, and he's healthy, and this defense can step it up a bit, I think Kansas is a very, very formidable team. Arizona, Jed Fish leaves out of Arizona, but he didn't leave the cupboard empty. Noah Fafita is still in Arizona. He is in the, I think, top 25 amongst Heisman favorites for the year. So obviously there's playmakers there that the odds makers feel really, really good about. Texas Tech, I admittedly don't know a ton about Texas Tech at this point. We started watching them last year thinking that they were about to have a good season, and we were very, very disappointed. I think they ended up salvaging their year there kind of at the end of the season last year. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what Joey McGuire and the team has got in store for us this season. We'll dive a little bit more into them in the spring, I'm sure. And then UCF, Gus Malzahn, former Auburn coach. I will forever have faith that he can win ball games. He's a coach that can do more with less. And now he's got KJ Jefferson there at UCF. I think that's a great, as long as KJ is in good shape. I've had Arkansas fans complaining that he was not ready for football last season. I don't know how much of that is true. I think Arkansas fans were pretty upset that he left. But with that being said, I think that he's got potential to work very well in this offense. We saw a running quarterback do very well there last year. His name slipping my mind. It was the guy that was at Ole Miss, Rice Plumlee.
Yep.
And man, he just absolutely tore it up in this offense. So this read offense that they run there at UCF, I think is going to benefit KJ Jefferson a lot. Big 12 is a tight race, man. If you keep going on these odds past the sixth team, that it's a bunch of teams that are right around that plus 1100. Okay, until you get down to the very bottom with Houston, which is I think Houston was plus 1600 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy. This thing is wide open. What do you think about the Big 12? Probably going to be the most exciting conference week to week. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got my money. I am so excited to watch the Big 12. I know that, you look at this list and there aren't real there aren't any real contenders for a national championship run, but there's some really good teams here. And there's some really good quarterbacks, Mark. Um, you mentioned it, right? Cam Rising, Avery Johnson, Jalen Daniels, Noah Fafita. Texas Tech's going to have Baron Morton, which we don't know much about him, but Tyler Shook did transfer to Louisville. You got KJ Jefferson at UCF. Oh, by the way, there's a guy with the last name of Sanders who's playing at Colorado. That's really dang good himself. Um,
Yeah.
that there's going to be a lot of high scoring games in the Big 12. Shocker. And it's going to be really fun to watch. It's going to the TV product is going to be great. I'm not going to belabor the points that you already made. I think we have a lot of questions going into spring about the defenses of some of these teams, but I know we got really good quarterbacks, and that
Yeah.
usually leads to some exciting football games. Um, when I look at this championship race for the Big 12, I have to look at Kansas State and say this team has been really consistent. Almost beat Missouri last year. It was a really close game. Uh, Probably should have won, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
62
was
yard field goal.
that doesn't happen like ever, not in
It's
college.
crazy.
So I think that Kansas State is probably going to pull out the win in the Big 12 this year. Depends on the health status of Cam Rising, though. Is he going to be able to come back and actually play, all the way through the season? I think it's going to be a tight race. I'm really excited to watch it. No team's going undefeated. I'll tell you that much. That's where I'd put my money.
Yeah.
But I like Kansas State to win it this year.
Yeah, yeah. I feel pretty good about Kansas State. I feel pretty good about Utah. I could see Oklahoma State. Um, Oklahoma State. People continue to put dirt on their name, bro. I mean, they're not even on this list here, and they were in the Big 12 championship last year. It seems like they're in it at least every other year. And last year we thought they were just left for dead, and they made their way to the Big 12 championship game. So
And
never say never.
don't sleep on TCU either, because they made some real big improvements last year, throughout the season. This is a
Yeah, they
team that
did.
played for a national championship 2 years ago. I like what I saw out of their quarterback. Once he got healthy, he started making some plays. Didn't make a lot of smart decisions, but he made some plays, and I think the decisions will come this year. Um, I like TCU. They are very much in this hunt. Like I said, it's wide open, man. Anything could happen in the Big 12.
Oh, absolutely.